welcome back to latest episode of From the Couch. I am your host, Tony Jordan, along with
Uche, and we are From the Couch.
Yeah, so past week is I don't know. I mean, I tell you what, man, I'm struggling to get back into the groove of things. We had a short week last week, and and then this week I just feel like
Week before you were in Europe.
That's true. Yeah, so that's probably why it was
Yeah, you still think you're in La La.
incredibly difficult. Yeah, exactly. So, a couple of things that we wanted to touch on over the course of the next couple of weeks here as we start to get into NFL season. I don't know what you have going on from like a draft party and whatnot, or if you're in any fantasy leagues.
Nah, not yet. No.
No?
Not yet.
All right. Well, we may have an opening. Yeah.
See yours.
Yeah. So what's cool is being a Commanders season ticket holder, they end up sending out an email to me and asked me if I wanted to host my draft at the stadium. And so I hit up the guys. Oh yeah, absolutely. I sent it out to last year's winner, and for him, he has. Usually we have it at like Buffalo Wild Wings or something like that, and they cover all of the cost of a little sticker board and whatnot. And the guy that won, he's been playing our league, I don't know, 10, 12 years or whatnot, never been close, and last year he just blows up and completely dominates everybody. And when that happened, I hit him up this year. I'm like, hey, draft's right around the corner. Season's about ready to start. What are we gonna do? And that email comes in like a day later. Yeah, and I hit him up. I'm like, hey, because you won, you get the choice of what you want to do. But let me tell you this much: the Commanders reached out, said, hey, here's an opportunity for you guys to host. And yeah, he's like, let's do it, absolutely. So a couple of guys are already on board. Most folks were like, oh man, that sounds awesome. And
how would you tell me about it?
Right. How do I get in this league? Yeah. So we'll end up doing that. I think it's on the 25th of August. So we got a little bit of time to prep. And for me, I mean, I do zero prep until like day of, and then I'm scrambling and pulling out, all these.
I don't know who I'm drafting until I get in the draft. Like last year in my draft, I was in a league with my brother and his friends. I didn't even know my place in the draft until I was like, oh, we're drafting.
Yeah, no, it's going now. Yeah, it's so funny too, because I don't know if you remember.
Second place too.
Yeah.
Second place last year.
There was this commercial that was out. I don't even remember what it was from. Maybe it was like ESPN or something like that. But it was, kind of all these guys making fun of this one guy who is drafting, and he has no idea any of the players whatsoever. And I remember him saying like, something incredibly funny at the time, and I think we still use it like every draft season or whatnot. But he's like, "I'll take TJ. Who's your mama?" Because he couldn't say Hujmansada. Yeah, exactly. So. That's been kind of like our running joke in our league for quite some time now, but looking forward to that. A couple of different changes as that we're kind of as we begin to really grow within our podcast here. Comfort levels of just talking about life, talking about stuff that's going on with us, and thoughts and ideas that we have. Changed a little bit of our layout in the room here, as you can tell by the cameras, their angles, and our goal is to really start to build out a comfortable environment. So as we have our guests that are coming in, get them acclimated with the area as well, and
you guys a better product.
yeah, exactly. So we have a couple things that we'll be ordering out. From a sounding standpoint, so that gets better. Plan on bringing in some other folks that are really good at audio production. We talked a little earlier about mutual buddy's son who does that and went to school for it. So if we can bring him in and help us.
Went to school for that?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. So.
People are self-taught nowadays.
Yeah, that's true.
YouTube and what?
That's true.
On YouTube, I went to go get my window changed like a month or two ago on my last car. The guy was like, "Yeah, I see you got an actuator problem. Just watch a YouTube video. You can fix it." That is not something.
Exactly.
And we're both like, "What? You gotta unscrew door pieces and whatnot." I was like,
yeah.
But yeah, he went to school for. That's interesting.
Yep, yep. So we'll see if have a chat with him and see what some of the things that he's looking to potentially help us, get a better product, as Uche just said just a moment ago. Couple of other things that I wanted to kind of just touch on. I had mentioned before about time. We've been talking about time over the course of the last several weeks now. Yeah, and time is coming to a close when it comes to my daughter about ready to leave for school, off to college. Yeah, yep, it's like 4 weeks left. Yeah.
Oh, that's enough time.
Yeah, it feels that way, but I mean, there's so many different things that are happening in life right now, and as
I'm sure 4 weeks for you feel like 4 days. Like
it does.
No.
Well, it's it's interesting. Last night, my wife wrote on. We have like a calendar that's on our refrigerator, and I said to her, are you going to put our daughter's date to move to college? She's like, I'm not ready for that at all. I don't want to be reminded of that date every time I go to open the fridge or whatever. Yeah.
Painful thing that's coming.
Yeah, it is. It's so crazy too. I mean, we just talk about like how fast time flies. I'm about to sound like every dad ever, but like I can remember holding her as like a little baby. I can. It's just and
you can't believe that this is the person that I raised.
Right.
You are a full-grown human being, basically.
Right. And what's like super cool, I had this conversation with someone else not that long ago. It's your kids start to get into that age of really enjoying them because they're little adult humans, right? And so
like people.
Yeah, exactly. And I have 2 daughters that are just amazing people. They're funny to chat with. I mean, we razz one another. So if I give it to them, they're giving it back to me. Sometimes I play for keeps though, and I I take it a little too far, right?
I made you guys.
Right.
Destroy you.
That's right. So I think for my wife and I, these next couple of weeks are probably going to be.
You're gonna cherish it.
Yeah. We're trying to do as many different things as we can. I mean, we're going to a concert that.
Sure.
Yep. My daughter will be there. Both daughters will be there. So we're gonna go see Here and Now tour. So this is like a Kenny Chesney, Dan and Jay. Yeah.
What's your honest opinion on her? Do you think that she is eager to get away from you guys, or she's on the same fence as you guys? Like, I'm kind of nervous, scared.
It's so funny. I mean, like she is a very independent, strong woman, and I think for her, this is just a new life challenge, right? So it's not about running away by any means. I think for her, it's about growing as a woman and doing it on her own too. But as far as is she doing, is she excited about leaving us? Yes, but also nervous as well, and just as her mom and I are, with her, it's we're excited for her, but at the same time we, I don't know, we're nervous about it too. It's just, it's our girl going off to college that is, several hours away, so it's not just hop in the car and go, pick her up from a friend's house. It's walking and talking her through, difficult times, and then she's going to build great relationships at school that she's at, and be able to leverage and lean on those friends as well. So
that's what I said. Like, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, I was like, for the first few weeks, she'll be like, "Can I come home?"
Right.
And then after that, when she makes friends, she's gonna be like, "All right, guys, see you at the end of the semester."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's normally how it is as a freshman. You're homesick in the beginning.
Right.
You make friends, it's like, oh, this becomes way easier.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So we feel that we've helped build a great foundation for her, and I've kind of had this philosophy for like many years now. Like, you stop really raising your kids at around like 12, 13 years of age. And I know some people are going to probably freak out about that, but you've already instilled in them, the what's right and what's wrong, how to treat people, how to talk to people. And so, their friends are the ones that are influencing their lives from really 13 to probably 25. And then, after that, then it's, you find a spouse or whatnot, and then you two grow together, and then you have kids, and then that turns into your kids helping you to become who you are as that individual.
You hear that, parent? No, like, cause like a lot of parents, like I know in my family culture, my dad says we're babies until the day he dies.
Yeah.
I always like I'm raising you guys even in your 20s now, and I'm just like, wow, you really think like.
Yeah.
I get where he's coming from, but I think what you said is really factual. Like around that teenage when you start to hit puberty, that's when you start to. Because I know I'm not too far removed from that. That was like 15 years ago for me. Not
Right.
long ago. When I got to that stage in high school, it was like, okay, I care more about what my peers think more than.
Right.
Because I still value my parents' say.
Right.
But your peers, they hold a lot of weight now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely, you just set a bar right there. You can raise your kids up until a certain age, and then it's like, all right.
Yeah, and
Hope you picked up what I put down for the last 10, 15 years.
exactly. And I think, it's interesting. It's almost like, in your work environment or in your professional career, you have mentors, and those mentors help you grow in life. And so, you could still be a mentor to your kid, but your kid is probably going to have someone else that they, reach out to on some things, right? You come to mom and dad about whatever it is, financial stuff or whatnot, and eventually raising kids or whatever that is. But some of like the more intimate things that you want to keep from your parents, you're going to somebody else and you're talking to them about it. Yeah, exactly. And I've come to that realization, I think, and I know my wife has as well, is that's a great thing. That's what we should be instilling and helping, our kids understand that you don't have to come to me for every issue and problem that you have. Find someone that you trust that you can go to on specific things with them. Yep. So it's funny, like I feel like the older I get, the more I start to recognize that, man, I don't know much at all.
I'm saying that at 25.
Right.
It's like every time you think you know something, you look back and realize, oh, I guess I didn't know that much after all. It's like, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so I think, as I was saying before, the next couple weeks are going to be tough for my wife and I, coming to that realization of knowing that she's going to be, yeah. So, but I think it's going to be hard on her sister as well. So her sister, yeah. So my oldest will be 18 in September,
Okay.
and then my youngest is 15.
So 3-year gap.
Yeah. Yeah, but about 2.5 years. So they really got close since COVID. I mean, in all honesty, like, I touched on this before. Our family became really, really close because I think our kids were at that age of being cool, fun to hang out with, razz one another, play games, and
Hang out with any of the other.
that's kind of true too. Right. So over the course of the last,
Like you.
forced to be friends with your sister. No, they've just become really close with one another, and I think that's probably. My wife and I mean, we absolutely love that. So it's, your siblings are going to be your first friends that you have, just the way that it is. And the tighter the bond that you make, the longer that friendship will last. So, but yeah, I think our youngest is going to struggle with that for a little bit until, she starts doing her own thing as well and realizing that, well, sister will come back when she comes back.
Yeah.
So, that point I made earlier about that timeline of raising your kids to a specific age, roughly a specific age, that stems from I lived in Florida for a little while, and this family that I lived with when I was there before I joined the Air Force, the dad said, one day I'm gonna lose. He's talking about his daughter. I'm gonna lose her, but she's gonna come back to me, and I remember that from 22 years ago. I still remember that statement that he said, and I think about it. I'm like, man, that was pretty profound back then. And I've put that into perspective for the last probably 10 years of being a dad, and there's these ebbs and flows that happen with kids. Of I'm going to mom for this, or I'm going to go to dad. Dad's cool right now, so I'm going to talk to dad. Oh, mom's cool. Dad's like the heavy on situations. Not weight. I do need to lose some though, but maybe get back to basketball eventually. I don't know, but anyway, I think about what he said there, and I find it to be really profound. The fact that he recognizes that that's what happens in life. You leave for a little while, and then you come back,
Yeah.
come back home.
I feel like if you've done it great enough, if you invested into your child, they're always going to come back to you because it's going to be in the back of their head. I got this from my parents.
Right.
I'm going to return to the root and see what more I can get from them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If you taught them well, they're going to keep coming back.
Yep. It's interesting. So my wife and I don't miss any of our kids, sporting events, field trips, whatever it was, we were always going to it and still continue to do so. And I know that I got that from my parents.
Is she playing sports at her school now?
She won't. Yeah.
I said you make that driver.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, I'd go as often as I possibly could, but I think she has the skills to, potentially play, but that wasn't her thing. She's like, I'll just play club league.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, I might show up to those. I don't know, maybe, but my parents showed up to everything. Every sporting event that I had, my dad was taking off work to show up, and he instilled that in me. My mom, she couldn't even stand sports, but she was still going. She's reading a book or something in the stands, and someone had, yeah, Tony. You hear, somebody cheering, she's clapping along. But I got that from my parents, and I thought that I love that. I love my parents, knowing that my parents were always going to be there. Always a key component to being a kid and having your parents be there. And what's interesting is I noticed this as a parent now, and I'm looking around and I'm seeing all these kids whose parents never show up to events.
Yeah, I was one of those kids.
Yeah.
It wasn't never. They came for like the first, up until I was 10 years old. Then when they seen, oh, you're really good at this, and they seen I once upon a time wanted to be in the NFL, and I could have gotten there.
Yeah.
Then once they seen, okay, you're at that age now, you can take care of yourself, get yourself to and from practice,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did that have any? Do you think that had any effect on you?
It does.
Okay.
It definitely does, because you feel like you're missing a support system. You feel like you're doing it by yourself.
Right.
Like now, I have a younger brother who's in high school. He's going into his second year of high school.
Okay.
And he's already made the varsity football team.
Okay.
So but he's all the way in Florida.
Yeah.
So I try to talk to him as much as possible to talk him through it, because I went through that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I had an older brother too, but he lived in Atlanta. I lived in Maryland.
Right.
It was hard to, but I just try to be that phone call support system.
Yep.
Even have that in high school.
Right.
So it does help a long way if you have that support system. Just having feeling like you have someone in your corner.
Right.
Goes a long way.
Yep.
After there were days where I was like, man, gotta walk to practice.
Right.
2 days.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Or not to mention, I mean, say you score touchdown or game-winning drive or something to that effect. You make that big tackle that prevents the go-ahead score, and you look up and you're like, damn, I don't have anybody there.
I'll say it makes you self-sufficient, self-dependent.
Right.
To the point where you really like, okay, it's just me out here.
Right.
So I began doing everything for myself. When I was a kid, it was fun. Like my mom was like, "You got a touchdown, good job."
Yeah.
But then at some point, I understood that okay, she can't come to every game because of work.
Right.
Like that. So it makes you more self-dependent.
Right.
I think it helped in that regard. It was bad because the child was like, "Oh, boo,"
Right.
my game, but it did promote some healthy growth in me.
Yeah, that's cool.
So,
Yeah, like you said, I mean, it's having that team in your corner. It's funny, and as you're talking about your brother, I'm thinking, you're talking and I'm thinking, and if he's here in Maryland, I'm like, we're going to get our whole crew together. We're going to cheer him on. Then you said Florida. I'm like, yeah, maybe we're not doing that. But
I was like, I'll try to make one game this season. Yeah, but maybe the home opener or homecoming.
Right.
I'm not going down there every week.
Yeah, exactly.
Just send me the highlights.
Right. Is his plan to play?
Yeah.
Play in college?
He has the same dreams as me.
Yeah.
College and then pros.
Cool.
And he's actually better. I'll never say this to him, but he's actually better than me when I was at that age.
Yeah.
I look at him and I'm like, man, these kids are getting nicer nowadays because they're starting at a younger age.
Right.
They have much more access to better equipment, healthy eating habits. They're stretching more, yoga, all that stuff. Like there was a study that went on about how LeBron's almost 38. Tom Brady's past 40, still playing.
Right.
So yeah, the technology that helps.
Absolutely.
Medicine has evolved a lot.
It's funny, that you mention just like the healthy eating habits, the workout regimen.
Yeah.
It's that Mamba mentality. I always go back to that. Like, here's a guy that was always getting up before everybody else, practicing before practice.
Yeah.
And I tell my kids that too. You know, my youngest, she's about to go play volleyball, and you know, she's never played before, but she's been practicing and practicing and practicing, and I'm incredibly proud of her, you know, for that. But I said to her, I said, you know, you can't practice like like you're the greatest and barely show up. You got to practice like you want something. And I always talk to them about that from a grades perspective as well. It's like, don't study, you know, for C, or don't study like you're gonna get
For the grade.
for a C.
Yeah.
If you want an A, you need to study like you want an A. Yep. Some people are just naturally gifted and they just kind of do their own thing, and we see that, you know, quite frequently. But you did mention just how, like, you know, different kids are nowadays. I just saw a clip, I think it was on, like, you know, Google News or something like that. This kid's 8th grader, 265, and he's like absolutely just yoked. And, you know, one of the changes, listeners, one of the changes that we're going to have is we're going to start bringing in some video clips, so we'll be able to yeah, exactly. We'll be able to pull them up on the screen. But yeah, it was this kid was just yoked, just huge. Like, you're in 8th grade. He was like 6'5" or something crazy. It was just 265.
Alabama.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm sure they already are. Who knows?
He was already reached.
Right.
Hey,
Yep.
you like football?
Yeah. So, but, you know, over the course of, like I said, the last couple weeks, I think time has been, you know, a key focus of ours, and because it's a commodity that you can't get back, you know.
Valuable asset up there.
Exactly. And
You can't get it back.
no, that's right. That's right. You know, so for us, I think sitting in here, having this conversation, talking about, you know, life in general and things that, you know, we went through, that we're going through, I think that helps in really reflecting on our time as, you know, as a dad, as a man, and hopefully we're giving, you know, some inside knowledge and some
People are definitely related to this.
yeah.
They definitely are.
Yep. And I'm hopeful that, you know, we just continue to build on something and that people really enjoy. I know we get a laugh out of it when I play, you know, at the house. Like, hey, what do you think? Yeah. Yeah. Right. Especially
Like I wasn't there.
right. We had the work going on last week, and my whole family, I mean, they're laughing about that episode because we did the 2 hours later or whatever it was. Yeah, it's just funny little clips, and us having that opportunity of being able to just kind of share and grow, you know, with one another and within our company, and we have a blessing to be able to do that. Yeah.
Put out content.
Yep. So, but that's pretty much a wrap on my end. That's all I got to touch on. Next couple of weeks, we're gonna dive into improvements. Dive into some feelings. I might be shedding a tear here sooner rather than later. Who knows? Yeah.
I'm a Virgo. You don't have.
Right. I'm a Pisces. I'm like the waterworks or whatever. I don't know much about that stuff, but I know it's a water sign. Yeah.
They are emotional.
Uh-oh.
My mom and brother.
Oh, are they? That's funny.
But, man.
Well, cool. Well, thank you, listeners, for joining us once again. Always appreciate any feedback that you have, and you know, feel free to touch base with us. Would love to have some live callers coming soon, and if you're interested in that, hit us up, and we'll make it happen.
From the Couch Podcast.
All right, we're out.